Hey guys, Chad here from Take It or Leave It, here with another quick movie review for you for a little film called Malibu Horror Story. Here's the synopsis. Terror strikes when a team of paranormal investigators search a sacred cave for clues in the unsolved disappearance of 4 Malibu teens. Alright, let's get right on into the pros and the cons, starting with the pros. So if it's not clear by now, I'm a big fan of found footage films and, mockumentaries. I got a thing for them, I enjoy them, when they're good, that is. So I was stoked to see that some people were talking about this film bringing found footage into a different direction and that the future was bright for found footage if this is what they have to show for it. And while I definitely wouldn't go that far, I will say that the film has a multi-layered narrative that definitely adds an element of complexity to the film, and it does this by following 4 paranormal investigators. That's kind of the first layer. The second layer is the documentary that they're putting together, and the third layer is the raw footage of the missing teenagers that was found days after they went missing. The documentary footage was actually the most interesting part to me, as it really delved into the mystery the most, in particular showing a change in attitude of the public once some unseemly footage of the teenagers was exposed. That was a really cool thing to focus on. I kind of wish they focused on that more, because that's something that we see happen in real life all the time. And there's some fun occasional gore that definitely amped up the severity of the scene. And last but definitely not least, Troy James is in this movie, and if you don't know who Troy James is, he is a Canadian national treasure. I'm not kidding. He's the incredibly bendy, crab-walking man who shows up in Channel Zero, Anything for Jackson, Nightmare Alley, and The Void, just to name a few. And he only shows up briefly in this film, but is by far the scariest part of the entire movie. But seriously, keep an eye out for this guy. You've probably seen him and you didn't even realize it, but he elevates every film that he's in. I'm a huge fan. But with that, we gotta get on to the cons. So aside from the moderately complex narrative structure I talked about earlier, and by the way, that's putting it generously, everything else about this film is utterly generic. Honestly guys, I'm totally shocked that this movie got a theatrical release. It's a quintessential generic straight to streaming found footage movie. There are predictable jump scares galore in this movie. I mean, they're all over the goddamn place, and most of the performances are mediocre at best. I mean, and I don't blame the actors for that, because I've seen several of these actors in other movies and they did much better, so they're capable of more. In this film, it just didn't work out very well. And also, sidebar here, it's kind of a silly point, but this movie doesn't take place in Malibu as you would think of Malibu. When I say Malibu, California, what do you think? Yeah, that, right? That's what you think when you think Malibu. No, that's not what you get in this movie. This movie should have been called Malibu Hills Horror Story, alright? I mean, it's borderline false advertising in my opinion. And honestly guys, this was such generic, subpar found footage that comparing this movie to good found footage like The Outwaters, Skinamarink, Deadstream, Dashcam, oh my god. Dude, I'm not kidding, like, I'm laughing, but it's laughable. It's laughable. This doesn't deserve to be in the conversation with those frickin' movies. And I was gonna come up with an elements of section for this, but honestly, this is borderline just kind of a rip-off of Horror in the High Desert. Not completely, but definitely close enough, and frankly, Horror in the High Desert is much better than this film, in my opinion. Like, much better. So I'd point you in that direction before sending you to Malibu Horror Story, and if you've already seen Horror in the High Desert, well, there's a sequel. It's not as good as the first, but it's definitely worth watching, and I think it's worth watching more so than Malibu. Sorry to do you like that, Malibu Horror Story, but look, I gotta call it like I see it, Bad day at the office, you'll get them next time. I gotta give Malibu Horror Story a 4 out of 10. But those are just my thoughts, take it or leave it. What do you guys think? Have you seen this movie yet? Have you heard of it? Are you excited about some other found footage movies coming out? What are you watching for Halloween this year? Let me know down in the comments section. Let's talk about it. And as usual guys, thank you so much for stopping by my channel. I really appreciate it. Don't be afraid to hit that like and subscribe button, and until next time, I'm Chad from Take It or Leave It, and I'll check you later.
Check you later, check you later.
Hey man, get off my case.
Oh man, chicks don't want to hear that shit.